So going through the demo, the first section was the whole little puzzle thing where you find the chips and the energy cells. Then from there, the spacewalk isn't next. The spacewalk's a little bit later, isn't it?
Correct. It's technically next in terms of the big thing that you do, but yeah, there's a bit of walking in between and
right.
visual stuff.
Yeah, the spacewalk was a section that I heard about last time that I was concerned with how it was gonna feel when I actually tried it myself, because it's one thing to be fine on the ground where, you're walking, the ground's below you, but like maybe my problems with VR comes from the fact that my first experience literally was of roller coaster demo on the Oculus DK2, which is the worst possible way that you can experience VR for the first time, especially if you're doing it standing up.
Yes, 100%.
You're not the first person to tell us that either.
Yeah. Look, the whole idea for that spacewalk actually came from a BBC spacewalk VR demo.
Mm.
And I played that, I think, through twice. It was cool, but at the same time, it was awful. Because you had zero control at all. You were like a static player, and the camera forced your movement. That's what made me sick. And normally, I don't really get sick in VR because I've been developing for a while. I'm used to extremely low frame rates that would make everyone sick.
Right.
I've just grown tolerant to it. But yeah, playing that, and as soon as you get certain movements that are normally given to you taken away, no good.
Right. Okay. So it feels too limiting, and because of that, it creates a very jarring experience where it that you're in a game world, and it throws you off.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like the roller coaster, right? It's the same sort of principle. You're not in control of what you're doing, which I think is where your brain decides, this is not good.
I bet if you were on that roller coaster sim and you were sitting in a seat, it might have actually felt better.
Probably, yeah.
Because when you ride roller coasters, you are in a seated position and you're strapped in. Whereas if you're just standing up and you're just having this roller coaster thrust upon you, you're gonna get sick.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think it's a really fair point. Because I think of the people that go and play things like Gorilla Tag, and they have absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. But you might be right that it's not necessarily the speed at which you're moving, it's the sense of control. In a game like that, you have complete control over where you're going to go. So even though it's very fast, even though you're falling, even though a lot of things are happening, that you can do something about it. It's not something that is just happening. It's not something where you feel completely disconnected from what's happening within the game.
Yeah. Control is key.
Yeah. The Spacewalk segment was very interesting. I went into that. I was like, so you start with it, you put the helmet on, which is neat. I like that. That was a nice little touch. Didn't have to be there, but it was a nice little touch. And you get out to the bars, and it is cool to be I know initially you would expect people to climb along and grab the bars, but I very quickly felt kind of comfortable with it and was just throwing myself across. And I did that with the expectation that I was gonna feel bad. That's the reason why I did so. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen whatsoever. And my angle wasn't great, and I kind of screwed it up a couple of times, but it was still fun. I think the only problem I had with the spacewalk is when you go under the bars, and I'm sure other people have had this as well, where there's the open section onto the left-hand side. People have thrown themselves over to that bit, and that's outside of the map. You're not supposed to be there. And I did the same thing as well. I'm assuming other people have done the same thing. That's not just a me thing, yeah?
we've had everyone do pretty much everything.
Right.
Yeah.
At this point. Like, there's
Yeah.
a giant, like, the vent that you start climbing across at the very beginning. Then there's that, like, little jump that you have to, like, get onto the outside of the ship. There's a little gap there that actually shows inside where the lab used to be. We actually had people just want to go in there for no reason. But because we found that people were doing that, we had to put, like, a kill box to stop people from doing that. But yeah.
Like, the other thing we could have done is, like, put more geometry there to block you from sort of going in.
Right, like another beam coming down or something where it's obvious you're supposed to go in there.
Yeah, but then it's also like, hey, if you're going to throw yourself in there, here's the consequences. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Yeah. We also did extend the time of respawn too, because it was actually pretty, like, close and immediate to your area, and we did notice that, like, because people were flinging themselves around quite a lot, that they didn't really get to see much, if that makes sense. So we kind of just extended the time it would take to, like, respawn you, so you could actually see more of the ship.
Right. So
like,
you made
it's just a visual thing.
So you made it, like, a bit more forgiving for where it's gonna knock you out.
Yeah, effectively.
Right.
Plus, that was also. Sorry.
No, go on.
So that was also based on some feedback and stuff that we had as well. Because initially, the way that we developed it to be sort of that instant thing was like, we just assumed people would be annoyed if they, like, flung themselves and they're just, like, drifting for a bit before, like, coming back.
Yeah,
sure.
So we were like, yeah, well, to save you guys the pain point of, like, being frustrated, we'll just, you get too far, you're back in the thing, respawn. But then, we got the feedback of, oh, well, there's no consequence. You don't feel like you're drifting away. It's like, well, it's the,
we had to find the middle
I
ground,
guess.
basically.
Like, it was interesting.
We also have the like, jetpack or whatever it is, so you can like adjust yourself back towards where you need to be.
That's actually not really a bug as such, or like a feature. It's kind of like, it was a bonus of using the continuous movement. Because with the teleport mode, you don't get that. You are literally, it's way more unforgiving in terms of, like, how the gravity works. But because you're using continuous movement, the character controller, it still wants to, like, use those forward inputs and move you. So it might seem like you have a jetpack on, but you're kind of just walking through space.
I see. So when you teleport, does it, like, immediately cut your momentum?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So, like, we kind of had to, like, design the area around being close to grab stuff. Like, being able to, like, So we also implemented a checkpoint in the middle, which you have to, like, you can teleport to it. You don't have to, just to make it easier. But yeah, it's just so you're, like, near things to grab.
Right. Going back to the whole thing about the kill zones and how far away you can get. This is a problem that a lot of games run into, because you're always gonna butt up heads with the people who want it to be convenient and the people who want to take really stupid shortcuts because they're trying to speedrun things. There was I don't remember the game of what the game's called, but there's this. It's like you, like, run real fast, you kill enemies, jump around, all this sort of stuff. And the dev originally, they wanted to make the kill boxes very, very hard, very clear. Like, there were ways you could use the momentum and jump, like, over entire buildings and skip half the level. So he wanted to make it initially that you couldn't do that. But then that annoyed the speedrunners, and then he got rid of that, and then, because he had a leaderboard system, then the speedrunners were entirely dominating the leaderboards. So I was like, okay, do we have a leaderboard of the speedrunners who want to do, like, skips, and then do we have the speedrunners who want to go the intended route? It's like, you have to sort of decide what the vision is and where you want to... because people are always going to find ways to break the game. No matter what you do, they're always going to find things. So you have to have this vision of what do we intend for people to do, and what is the extent that we expect people to do that we want to sort of, we want to not necessarily encourage, but allow for with the way that we are designing it.
Yeah.
100%.
We have an unintended skip in the spacewalk, where that checkpoint is, and where you have to like cut the debris in that tiny little like section there. There is a proper checkpoint like save system, so if you like mess up, you'll be respawned there. But because of the respawn system that people were commenting about, that then allowed people to actually just fly straight over the top of it and completely skip the checkpoint and go all the way to the ladder of the other side.
I see.
So you can skip it if you want. We're not going to have any consequences for that. If you screw up, you will go all the way back to the very beginning because you didn't get the checkpoint. So that's kind of like consequence for doing that.
It's funny that you mentioned the whole speedrunning thing as well, because at the conventions, as soon as people start to get comfortable with it and then they die, they get quicker, which then leads to them dying more.
Because they get overconfident.
They get overconfident and just fling themselves.
Yeah.
I think you did it once. Like we had one kid play a bunch, and he sped through the whole thing faster than anybody. But he spent like a good 2 minutes just flinging himself between things, getting slightly off course. Damn it, just and then like he'd miss the grab and like, over and over and over again, get to the next point where it's like, finally, I got that bit down, and then do it again. And it's like, you just got to slow down. You know, the game's not about doing it quickly. The game's about you feeling what you're feeling, you know, just take your time. Yeah, it's a fun consequence of seeing people just getting overconfident.
Yeah, like once you've done a segment and maybe didn't hit the checkpoint zone, but you've done most of the segment, like, yeah, I understand why you want to run through that as quickly as possible. You don't want to deal with, like, you know, I understand the atmosphere thing, but like once you've already done it and you screw up right at the end, you're like, okay, I don't want to do this again. There's like very few situations where I will do something and mostly do it and then want to do the exact same thing again. Like, I'm playing Kazan the First Berserker on the stream right now, which is like a Souls-like game. If I die just before I get to a save zone, I'm not going to fight everything. I'm going to avoid every single thing possible to get back to where I was.
Yeah, you're going to play it properly once or twice, and then after that, you're just like, I don't need to do this anymore. And you just run through everything.
Yeah. Unless there's some, like, you know, you're grinding resources, whatever. Like, in cases like that, sure, yeah. But, like, if the goal is to get back to a destination, I'm getting back to the destination. And then I'm probably going to die earlier anyway and ruin everything and spend 3 times as long doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What I do like about the... Oh, sorry?
No, you're good. Yeah.
What I was going to say, what I do like about the Spacebook segment is... Obviously, we talked a little about signposting earlier with the coloring of the elements, or coloring of, like, the chips, the coloring of the energy cells. There's a lot of... I understand some of the discourse online about signposting, and a lot of games doing it in a bad way that just doesn't feel contextually consistent. Where it's like, okay, why does this random rock have holds on it? Why is someone going around the world painting the rocks yellow? Why is there scratch marks on everything that clearly indicates where you can climb on it? And the example I brought up to you when I was there is in Expedition 33. This is minor spoilers for anyone who hasn't played the game yet. One of the earlier expeditions, their goal was they were the climbing expedition. So they went around the world. Their goal was to put climbing holds on everywhere that people in future expeditions are going to want to get to. So there's like a consistent lore reason why everywhere you go has these obvious holds that were placed there. And like when you find the when you find their journal, you find like a big stack of the holds that they were carrying around before they were able to like finish off their mission. And from that point on, there's no more holds left. So like it actually like it makes sense in the world. And in the same way here, it makes sense that the things you climb on the ship are going to be colored. It makes sense that there is a clear visual indicator that the maintenance area of the ship is going to have bars that you can see.
100%. Yeah, that was the intended part behind it. That, you know, this event had happened on the ship, and the maintenance crew had to find a way to get back up to the bridge. And so it was just like, okay, well, what equipment would they have on the ship, and what would they do? So they would have these like handholds, and they would just weld them to the outside of the directly onto the ship. So yeah, that's the use of those.